Ayo!
Welcome back!
Welcome back.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be so aggressive. Welcome back to the Beren Boys Bekius podcast.
Beren Boys Bekius.
With your boy Jake.
And your boy Jeremy. Just in case you guys forgot, I know it's been a while.
Quite a while, sorry.
Things have been crazy, okay? Listen, the coronavirus pandemic, the Houston snowstorm. Life's been crazy.
Life's been pretty crazy.
Your boy just got his second vaccine. You know
Yes,
the vibe.
sir.
You see the Band-Aid.
I get mine in a couple weeks.
Yes, sir. So, making big money moves.
Big money moves.
But yeah,
for
we're
sure.
back. We're back. For all you guys who have been commenting, asking where we are, we love you.
Thank you.
But
Thank
we're
you.
back in the building, in the spot, for another edition of Beren Boys Bekius. Shabbos Para. Shabbos Cow.
Let's do it.
Parshat Ki Tisah.
Alright, so the Parsha begins with all the Jews being instructed to give half a shekel of silver to Moshe and the Mishkan.
On top of this, the Jews are given specific instructions about the details of the Mishkan, including the water basin, the oil, as well as the incense for korbanot.
All the good things. Alright, so Betzalel and Oholiav,
The goats.
the goats, are placed in charge of constructing the Mishkan, and everyone is again commanded to keep Shabbat.
Bro, Batal and Aholiav really just went like Mike and Scotty on this thing. I mean,
For real.
the Mishkan, yo, that's crazy.
Yes, sir.
Right, so, as we know, Moshe has been instructed to go up to Har Sinai and speak with God, but when he does not return in time, the time runs out, the pedal falls down, the hourglass is empty, the Jews get scared, and build the golden calf. They construct an idol because they are fearful that their holy man Moshe has disappeared along with their God, and they start committing idolatry with this golden calf, dancing around this sculpted golden cow.
Horrible. So God proposes to Moshe that he would just destroy the entire nation. However, Moshe is strong, he's moral, he tells him, don't worry, I'll go down, I'll help them out.
Right, so Moshe comes down from Har Sinai and sees the Jews dancing around this calf. These two luchot he's holding from God. Moshe's heated, to say the least. So he
Yes.
comes down, sees the scene, takes a luchot, smashes them on the ground. Dunzo beans. Then he goes and breaks the golden calf. Everything's being destroyed. And then he gathers the leaders of this idolatrous act and puts them to death.
So then he goes straight to God, and on behalf of the people, says that if Hashem does not forgive the people for the sin, then he might as well just remove Moshe as well. Moshe is in this with the people. Yes, sir.
Wow,
Big moves from Moshe.
is for the people.
A real
Even
G.
He was so angry, and yet he was still able to put himself in the people's shoes and sympathize with them. That's a true goat.
An absolute G.
Moses, the freaking guy.
Go for it.
So, after this plea from Moshe, God forgives them, but does warn them that this sin will be felt throughout many future generations.
Then Moshe prepares himself to take the people to Israel alone, to guide them into the promised land.
So his first step in doing so is creating a new set of luchot, being as though the first two were destroyed.
Right.
Those are pretty important. So you need a set of those. So he goes up and meets with God again and creates a new set of luchot.
And on this mountain, when he goes up, Moshe is granted face-to-face contact with Hashem. He encounters Hashem personally and witnesses the Shlosha Midot, the 13 attributes of mercy.
Obviously, as we know, Moshe, the greatest prophet, recorded in our religion, he talks to God panim el panim and has a detailed, very intimate interaction with God up on Har Sinai, seeing God, in his realness, although not in his face, obviously, because that'd be a little bit too much. And so, after this encounter with God, Moshe is just beaming with light. He did not have horns, but he was glowing.
Keren Or, as in a ray of light, not
Right.
horns. I don't have any horns here.
Yeah, there are no horns. There are no horns.
Don't worry.
And so Moshe comes down, and he is glowing, so much so that they put a veil over his face, almost like we're wearing now, to cover him from the light being emitted from his face. And that wraps up the Parsha.
Before we move on to the Daf Yomi section, we want to mention why this week is called Shabbat Para. No, there are no actual cows in Shul.
Right. Do not bring your cows to shul. Here in Texas, you could actually bring a cow to shul.
Well, you can bring the horses, not the cows.
Yeah, the cattle, the horses, the whoever, your gun. I don't know, man. Okay, so The reason this week is called Shabbat Para is because in this week's Haftorah, we read about the laws of the Para Aduma, the red heifer, one of the most inconceivable mitzvot given to man, one in which we burn the ashes of a red cow, sprinkle them on ourselves, and we are purified. Last time I checked, no one's getting pure by sprinkling red cow ashes, if they can find a red cow.
Right.
But the reason that this is here now is because as we move on from Purim into Zman Gulatenu, the time of Pesach, the Jews are commanded to purify themselves before they make the journey into Shalim, one of the three Shalosh Regalim of Pesach. And so we read about purifying ourselves as the Jews were commanded to purify themselves back in the olden days with the Beit HaMikdash.
Shkayach.
All right, so now that we cleared up why this week is the cow week, we now move on into the next section of our segment, the Daf Yomi portion, in which we keep you guys up to date with what those Daf Yomiers are doing day by day.
We are still in Tzachim. After a long break, we're still same Masachet. So this week in Daf Yomi, we learn that you must make your Kiddush b'makom seuda. Kiddush must be made in the same place that you have your meal at.
Right. You cannot go to one part of your house, make Kiddush, and then go to another part of your house. Right, you must make Kiddush in the place that you're eating. Kiddush b'makom seuda, a fundamental idea of the practice of Judaism that we experience today.
It works from house to house, even room to room. You cannot go from one room to another room. It's crazy. But Kiddush b'makom seuda.
Kiddush b'makom seuda. Okay, now on to the sports section, keeping you guys up to date on the sports news of the world, beginning with the most relevant sport going on right now. Sorry to all you baseball fans.
Not even going on right now.
The NBA basketball.
All right, so the All-Star game is coming up. We have LeBron versus Durant, but Durant is out. He will still be drafting the team, though.
Obviously, Devin Booker, prayers up to him. He was snubbed in the All-Star game, but but Anthony Davis is injured, and so thankfully D-Book gets his spot, rightfully so, in the big game.
Tiger Woods was unfortunately injured in a car crash and he fractured both his legs, but he is stable. He'll be okay.
God bless. Everyone wore those red shirts in the tournament. Prayers up to Tiger, true GOAT. And I'll say it to spare Jake the pain, but the Rockets absolutely stink. And they're on a 12-game losing streak right now, whereas the Brooklyn Nets, who acquired, James Harden, are on an 8-game winning streak. They're balling.
I am officially on the bandwagon for Joel Embiid MVP.
Let's go, baby. Joel Embiid MVP.
Joel Embiid MVP. I don't think a center can ever do it. He's going to do it.
Yes, sir. So now on to the last section of the Beren Boys Bekius podcast, where we give you guys some fire musar, some Dvar Torahs for you guys to bring back from us to your table to share with your family this week at the Shabbat table.
All right. In a Perek Lamed, Pasuk Yud Gimel of this Parsha, the pasuk says, "Mechatzita shekel b'shekel hakodesh," that the people should bring half a shekel after the shekel of the sanctuary. The question is, what's the significance of having just half a shekel? Why not a whole shekel? Why half a shekel?
So obviously the more surface answer that is given to many children is that everyone needs to be able to pay, right? Everyone needs to be equal, and so they only give half a shekel so everyone can afford it, right? But what I think the deeper underlying meaning of the fact that everyone's only giving a half a shekel is that no man can accomplish a task, especially not one so great, being alone. Right? It's so important as members of our communities, of our schools, as our nation, to recognize the fact that you are not just yourself, but you are part of a much greater whole. Right? No matter how observant you are, or how many nights you keep of Pesach, or if you dress up for Purim or not, right? You are part of Am Yisrael, and if you are, right, then you are a chelek of the entire nation. And so, each person could give one whole shekel, but each person is a half, and not just a half, but a part of the greater whole that is the Jewish nation.
Yeah, we are definitely stronger together, and there's strength in numbers with the Jewish people.
Strength in numbers, right? Achenu kol beit Yisrael, right? We are all brothers. We're all family because we're all the Jewish people. And so our blessing to you guys this week is that, recognize the fact that although you are great in your own right, you are but a part of a greater whole. And so look to your left and right and think about those who are next to you and recognize the fact that you guys all have the same goal. And that together, amidst this crazy time if we remain unified and remember that we are just, half a shekel, not a whole shekel, we can, join together and really make great things happen.
I could not have said it better myself. And with that,
until next time, peace.